Students, today I'll teach you one new story, Happy Prince. This is the story written by Oscar Wilde, very famous writer. Some of you must have written the story of Oscar Wilde, The Selfish Giant. Selfish Giant is there in the class 8, you must have read it. Very beautiful story. And this is also written by Oscar Wilde. I'll tell you the story, go through the video. See, this is the picture of Happy Prince. This is the prince, you can see, and one bird is here. This is the bird. What is the name of the bird? This is the kind of bird, his name is swallow. Very small bird, it is singing bird. So this is the statue of Happy Prince. So when the prince was alive that time, he was very happy because all around him lot of comforts and luxuries were there, and people used to tell him that you are very happy because you have all the things in your life. And prince also was very happy because he did not know what is the miseries of the people, what is the real life of the people. He did not have any idea. He was very happy in his lifetime. But when he has died, his statue was made on the tall platform here, and he was standing there. And what happened afterwards, that I'll tell you in the story. Okay. See, this is the one more picture. You can see the beautiful eyes here. The eyes are made of sapphire. Sapphire is one kind of gem. Okay. Gem is like the ruby. Ruby's gem is there. So this sapphire is also one kind of gem is there. So he was having the eyes made of gem. Lot of golds are there, gold feathers. And the bird swallow was sitting here. Then actual story I'll tell you. What was the actual story? I'll tell you the summary of it. So there was a story about the statue of the Happy Prince and a little swallow. The Happy Prince was a beautiful statue, stood on a tall column high above the city. So from the tower, from the height, the Happy Prince could see each and everything of the city, what is happening in the city. The statue was covered with leaves of gold. Lot of golds are there. The statue was covered. He had sapphires on his eyes and ruby in his sword. He was having one sword, I told you. You can see the sword. This is the sword. It was having ruby. Ruby is another gem. Okay. And eyes are having sapphires. So such a valuable statue it was. So one night a little swallow flew over the city who was tired and wanted to spend the night between the feet of the Happy Prince. Actually, the swallow was moving here and there. It was in search of a shelter, and he found one statue is there. It is the place where he can take shelter and he can get protected from the rain. So it came and took shelter at the feet of the statue. You must have seen a lot of pigeons and other birds. They take shelter in the different kinds of statues in different places. You must have seen a lot of pigeons are there particularly. So this bird swallow also thought this is a safer place where I can get protected from rain. So he took shelter there. All of a sudden the swallow finds one drop of water fell on his head. He could not understand where from the water has come. He looked around and found there is no cloud on the sky. And after some time, again one drop of water fell on his head. Again he looked around. He could not find what is the source of the water. So like that, 3 water drops fell one by one. And when he looked up, he found that, what he found? There were tears from the eyes of the Happy Prince. The prince was very happy. That's why his name was Happy Prince. But tears were coming out, and the drops of the tear was falling on the head of the bird, swallow. The swallow filled with the pity why the prince is crying, why the tear is falling from his eyes. The swallow asked, "Who are you? Who are you and why are you crying? What is the reason why you are crying?" The Happy Prince told the swallow that he lived in a palace while he was alive. He was a prince once upon a time when he was alive. Now he is not a prince, but he is a statue. See, this is the beauty of the story of Oscar Wilde. Oscar Wilde giving the verbal input. He was giving the speeches on the non-living things also. Statue is a non-living thing. It is speaking to a bird swallow. So this is way the Oscar Wilde gives the picturize the things. You will find that somebody is speaking the story, somebody is speaking, somebody is elaborating, somebody is explaining, and beautiful way he present it as if you will find you are listening some story from someone. That is the beauty of Oscar Wilde. So these are the conversation of the between. This is the conversation between the prince and the swallow. So what the bird asked, why you are crying? The statue answered, when I was alive, that time I was a prince in the palace. I have lot of comforts. I did not know what is the sorrow in the life. Okay, but now I feel very sorrow. The happy prince told the swallow that he lived in the palace and had a kind human heart. There was no sorrow at all, and his courtiers called him happy prince because he did not know what is the sorrow in life. After his death, he had been sent on a high pillar. His heart is made of lead, and yet it was weeps when he sees the ugliness and misery of the city. This is a very important line. When he was alive, he did not know what is happening in the city, but when he is standing at the higher elevation, from there he can see what is the miseries of the people, how the people are suffering, and how the people are ugly. As they look, they are not like that exactly. There is something different in their heart, and outwardly something they are different. Now he has the divine look, now he has the divine brain, he can understand each and everything. Even though he is dead, he told the swallow that far away in a little street, a little boy of seamstress is sick, small boy is sick, he is crying, but his mother is not picking him up. Why? Mother could not give him oranges to eat because mother does not have money. He asked the swallow. What the lady was doing, she was actually making the garland which is to be given to the maid of honor in the court in the next day. So she was making, and because she will be earning some money, and until unless she can earn some money, she cannot feed the child also. And the child is sick and he was crying, but mother cannot do it because she is busy in making the garland on the crown, which is to be given in the next day to the lady of honor, maid of honor in the court. So he told the swallow, so go there and give him this ruby to the poor woman when he was going to Egypt. The bird said, I cannot stay here, I have to go to Egypt, okay, because my friend is there, I have to visit. So the prince requested him, before going to Egypt, you do small a favor. You take the ruby. Where was the ruby? Ruby was there in the sword. You take from here and give it to the lady who is making the garland, and her small child is sick, so that it will be big help to her. So give it to him. So stay one night here before going to Egypt. You help the poor lady. So the swallow agreed, and he took the ruby from the sword of the prince and given to the old lady. This is the first one. But he obeyed the happy prince, and then he flew and laid the ruby on the table of the poor woman. Okay. Just a minute. I'll tell you the details afterwards. So, she put on the poor woman. Then the happy prince saw a writer who was writing something. He was suffering from cold and was very hungry. In spite of that, he was writing. The happy prince asked the swallow, give one more of the sapphire to the writer. He told the swallow bird, don't go to Egypt, stay one more night and help the person who is writing a story which is to be enacted, the play which is to be enacted in the theater next day. In spite of hungriness, in spite of very old man and very sick man, he has to continue. He does not have food. So give this sapphire. The sapphire, where from the bird will get? The bird will get the sapphire from the eyeball of the prince. So if the eyeball is taken out by the bird, the happy prince will be losing one eye. In spite of that, he wanted to donate it. And the bird obeyed, and he has taken the eyeball, that is a sapphire gem, and given to the old writer. The swallow did not want to pluck out the sapphire from his eyes, but even though he did not want it, but Happy Prince was requesting again and again. He wanted to donate his eyes, and unwillingly the bird has taken out the eyeball and given to the old man. After that, the bird wanted to go to Egypt. Then again the Happy Prince requested him not to go and to stay one more night to serve another poor person. So what they said, the Happy Prince saw a match girl who was selling the matchstick. Very poor girl. His matches has fallen on the gutter. So he cannot sell it, and if she goes back to home, her father is going to beat. So the girl was crying. He told the bird, take out another eyeball from my eyes, which is made of sapphire, and give it to the small girl. So unwillingly again, he has taken out the eyeball from the eyes of the Happy Prince and given to the small girl. So once the two eyeballs are taken from the eyes of the Happy Prince, now what is the condition of the prince? He cannot see. Now he become blind. So Parva was saying from the tall tower, what is the condition of the city, what is the miseries and ugliness, everything he was observing. Now he cannot observe anything because he become blind. He told the bird, I want to see from your eyes. You fly away to the different places and give me the reports. You give me the things, what is happening in the city, how the people are living, who are those people in the trouble, what are the people in the misery. So every time the swallow used to fly away and give the reports. Now the swallow felt very sympathy. Now he said, now he thought, if I go from here to Egypt, this man, this Happy Prince, cannot see anyone. He cannot see anything because he has lost both the eyes for the good of the people. So he decided to stay there and give the reports of the people, give the reports of the places all around the city. Understood? So the Happy Prince now, the prince was told he was exactly blind now. The swallow slipped the sapphire from the palm of the match girl. The Happy Prince allowed them. The swallow now reported that the suffering of the starving people, so many people are starving in the town, in the city. So he has given all the command of the Happy Prince. The swallow took out the golden leaves from the statue one by one. All the golden leaves he has taken out. So he become wounded now because one by one all golden leaves are taken by the bird and given to the people who are suffering. So one by one, actually he was donating parts of his body, isn't it? He has given the eyeballs, he has given the sapphire, he has given the ruby. Now the golden leaves of his body he is taking out and giving. So he is becoming wounded now. But in spite of that, he kept on helping the people, and the swallow was obeying the command of the Happy Prince, even though he was not willing. He was not willing to do that because the prince was suffering. By the meantime, winter time came. The frost made the swallow older. Now, the statue is also not having the look. Now statue become dull and grey because all the decoration have been removed. Now it is not having the grandeur, it is not having the glamour what it had earlier. Now it is looking very ordinary, without eyes, without beautiful gems. It is looking very ordinary. And swallow was obeying all the commands of the Happy Prince because he started loving the prince for his sacrifice nature. But now the season has changed now. It has become winter season. Cold and frost everywhere. It become white now. The swallow was shivering. It has taken shelter at the feet. In spite of that, it was shivering. But still, it is not willing to leave the princess alone because he was helping the people. And from the eyes of the swallow only he can see, the swallow has understood. And he also become very sympathetic to the people and did not want to leave the prince alone. That's why he decided to stay there itself. Even though he has suffering and he knows in this cold winter he is going to die. The prince also said he bade him kiss on the lip. So the swallow understood that he is going to die. So I requested the prince, can I give a kiss on your hand? Because I am going to another place. The prince asked him, where are you going? The bird said, I am going to the kingdom of death because I am going to die very soon. The princess said, you, in spite of kissing my hand, you kiss on my lips, because they become very close to each other. Okay. The swallow kissed the lips of the prince, and after that what happened? The swallow fell down at the feet of the statue and he has died. The moment the swallow has died, the heart of the prince was broken into two. See the dramatic way the things are happening. Frost came, it became winter, the swallow is going to die, is going like to kiss like the human being, the princess also giving the command and the love to the bird swallow. These all like the picture. And the moment the swallow has died because of the frost and the cold, the princess also, statue also had a crack and heart also broken into two pieces. So after that what happened? See so far it was the climax. Now you see the anti-climax. What happened exactly now after? The mayor who is the head of the town, observed that the statue should be pulled down because it has neither beautiful nor useful. It is cracked now. It has cracked. The statue has been cracked. It does not have eyes. It does not have golden fumes. It does not have the sword. It does not have any glamour and the beautiful look. So it is of no use. Pull down the statue and melt it. So he was taken out, pulled down. Happy Prince was pulled down and melted the body. But the heart has not melted. Heart is unmelted. Okay. Hereafter, but those who are doing this kind of sacrifice for the other people, God will be blessing them. See the touch of God. What happened? God asked the angels to bring the two most precious things in the city. So he sent the angels. One bring two beautiful things from the city. The angels reported there are two beautiful things in the city. One is the dead dead swallow bird. Another is the head statue of Happy Prince. So they have been taken to the paradise of the God, and the God blessed them that throughout their life, and they will be immortal, and the bird will be singing in the garden of God. That is paradise. It will be singing, and Happy Prince will be the company, and he will be listening and enjoying the song of the small birds, swallow, and will be living in the paradise. So this way, the swallow and the prince both are rewarded by the God. Even though if you are suffering from any kind of ailments or suffering from the ugliness of the people, you are rewarded by the God only when you are doing the service to the humankind. When you are doing service to the humankind, when you are helping the people in destitute, God will be rewarding you. This is the message the writer wanted to give to the readers. I hope you have understood. Go through the complete story, and I hope you will understand. And if you don't understand in any part, you can ask me. Okay?